Today I will talk to you about speed and velocity. Speed and velocity. Speed and velocity. First, you could think that they are the same thing, but in fact they are not. There is a remarkable difference between speed and velocity. Every day, if you life, you hear the word speed, you hear that someone is fast, you hear the car is moving with an incredible speed, your friend is faster than you, the other one, and so on. So speed, you can notice it in everyday life. So let's first of all talk about the meaning of speed. What I mean with the word speed. Speed. Speed means what? The distance and object move per unit of time. So, what I mean with speed equals distance and object move per unit of time. For example, you are moving from your home and you're coming to the supermarket. You used the word distance before in the first lesson, and what I mean is the word distance. Distance is the length of the path between 2 points. If we take that point and this point, so the distance is the length of the path between these 2 points is called distance. If I tell you that the distance from your home to the supermarket equals 10 meters, so distance here equals 10 meters. And meters is a measurement unit to measure the distance. It is a measurement unit of distance. And if I tell you that you take 2 seconds to move from your home to the supermarket, so the time equal what? Equal 2 seconds. Yes, because you're on flash and it's so fast. So how can I figure out the speed? How can I calculate the speed that you start moving, starting from your home until you reach the supermarket next to your home? What is the equation for speed, basically? Speed, my friends, speed equals what? Speed equals distance divided by time. Speed equals distance divided by time. And I tell you that we can measure the distance using the measurement unit of distance, it's meter, and the measurement unit of time is equal second. Yes, sorry. Yes, that's second. So, how can I figure out the measurement unit of the speed? So, speed equals distance divided by time, that's our equation, and distance I can measure it with meter, time can be measured in second. So, the measurement unit of speed is meter per second. Meter per second. That's the measurement unit of speed. And also, in other elevations, you can use kilometer per hour. You can use meter per minute, and there's different other shapes of this measurement. Meter, but the one that scientists always use, it's meter per second. So now you know the equation. You now know what I mean with distance. And here we have an example. So let's solve it together. Let's start. Using the same equation, I tell you what? Speed equals distance divided by time. And they tell you the distance from your home to the supermarket equal 10 meters, and the time elapsed equal 2 seconds. So I can say that speed equal 10 divided by 2. Then the distance to the time. So 10 divided by 2 equals 5 meters per second. 5 meters per second. So now Now we understand how can we calculate the speed. We understand that the speed equal what? Speed first, it's the distance an object move per unit of time. The equation of speed equal distance divided by time, and the measurement unit of speed, it's meter per second. Let's talk about something, another forms of speed. There's something else I want to talk to you while we are talking about speed topic. I want to tell you about the average speed. What? The average speed. So, average speed. Average speed equals what? Average speed equals total distance divided by total time. What does that mean? It's the total distance divided by total time. Let's take an example to understand what I mean, or how can I figure the average speed? How can I calculate the average speed? You are here, you are riding your skateboard, okay? And you are going to the playground. The playground is, for example, it's going to be here. And there's many buildings, so you have to go east. Then you have to move south to reach the playground. You get your skateboard and get out of the home. And you will start moving. For example, you will start moving 100 meter, 100 meter, that's the distance. And you move this 100 meter just only in 10 seconds, for example. In 10 seconds. Okay? And you start moving south until you reach here, then you go south and you move 50 meter, and you start with this 50 meter. You take about, let's say the time it's 5 seconds. Okay, so here d equal 50, time equal 5 seconds. Here, the distance, I represent distance with t, time with t. So now you start moving with the skateboard. You move to east, and you walk 100 meter per in 10 seconds. Then you start moving until you reach here, then you go down to go to the playground, and you move 50 meter in 5 seconds. So I want to calculate the average speed. So average speed equal what? We take it here, the average speed equal total distance divided by what? Total time. So let's calculate the total distance. First you move 100 meter, then you start moving 50 meters. So the total distance equal what? 100 plus 50. Okay, so divided by total time. First you take 10 seconds, then you move, you take 5 seconds, so divided by 10 plus 5. So the average speed equals 150 divided by 15, it equals 10 meter per second. So now you figure out that the average speed that you moved with, it equals 10 meter per second. 10 meter per second. Let me tell you about something else called the instantaneous speed. Called what? Instantaneous speed. I'm just write for you the word here. What I mean is that instantaneous speed. Instantaneous speed, it's the speed of an object at a specific instant time. The speed of an object at a given instant time. For example, you are standing next to your friend and he is driving the car, and you tell him, what's your speed now? What's your speed now? and he told you I'm moving with speed 100 kilometers per hour. So the speedometer in the car tell you the instantaneous speed. So for example, the speedometer in the car give him the instantaneous speed. The speed of the car at a specific time. The speed of a car at instant time. So guys, now we understand about the speed, the average speed, and instantaneous speed. Now let me tell you about velocity. I'm expecting you all, my friends, that you understand about speed very, very well. Before we talk about velocity, I want to tell you a secret about speed. I'm going to tell you about the triangle of speed. That's going to help you a lot. How can you calculate speed easily and distance, and even you can calculate time using it. So, I'll draw for you the triangle of speed. Remember the equation of speed? It's equal what? Speed, I will represent this, equal distance divided by time. That's right? So speed, I represent distance with speed, divided by what? Time. T for time. So, now we can calculate speed equal what? Distance divided by time. Distance divided by time. Okay? And time equal what? Time equal distance divided by speed. Time equal distance divided by speed. It gives you the distance as an object move, the speed an object is moving with, and he wants you to calculate time. So you're going to tell me time equal distance divided by speed. And if he tell you, if he gives you the speed in a question, he gives you the speed of the object and the time that object moving with. Can you calculate the distance? Of course you can. Using the triangle of the speed, the distance equals speed multiply time. So speed multiply time. That's one secret that you can use in all the questions of speed. Okay? Now we understand speed. We understand the equation of speed. We talked about the average and instantaneous speed. Let's talk about velocity. What is velocity, my friends? Velocity is speed. So, first of all, what is the difference? What is speed in a given direction? Yes, velocity is speed of an object in a given direction. What is that, mister? If I tell you that you are riding your car, here you are riding your Lamborghini, for example. Yes. And you start moving with 100 kilometers to east. So your speed is 100 kilometers per hour to east. So you are moving with the speed and moving in a given direction, in a specific direction. So that's called your velocity, not speed. For example, you are running south, you are running north with the speed. North speed 10 meters per second. So the speed in a given direction is called velocity. The speed in a given direction, that's your velocity. So now we understand speed and velocity. Let's go now and understand how can you graph motion. How can you graph the motion of an object? If I tell you, first I'll give you a table about a moving object. Here, distance and time. And I tell you an object is moving in distance, for example, yes, 5 meters in 1 second. Here it's meter, time 1 second. And then it starts moving 10 meters in 2 seconds, then 15 meters in 3 seconds, 20 meters in 4 seconds, 25 meters in 5 seconds. How can you graph the motion of this object? How can you graph You can graph it using the distance versus time graph. Distance versus time graph. How can we graph the distance versus time graph? How can we draw it? First, you will draw the y-axis, and x-axis. You will draw distance, you represent distance on the y-axis. Distance it's measured in meter. And time will be on x-axis. And we measure time in second. So let's start to graph it. Distance after 1 second here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. For example, here will be 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. First one, after 1 second, the object starts moving 5 meters. So here 5 seconds, and here 5 meters. After 2 seconds, object starts moving. The object moved 10 meters. So 2 seconds, the object just gonna go like that. 3 seconds, the object moved 15 meters. 3 seconds, 15 meters. 4 seconds, 20 meters. 4 seconds and 20 meters. 5 seconds, 25 meters. 5 seconds, and here it is. So now you want the point. Let's connect it. Let's connect these points together. Yes. Now we connect these points together. Now we have a straight line. We have a straight line passing to the origin point. Okay? So now we want to calculate the speed of the object. Now we demonstrated, we graphed the distance versus time. We graphed the information that we have in the table. First, to calculate the speed of an object from the distance versus time graph, you have to figure out what? You have to figure the slope. What is that slope, mister? Slope is the steepness of a line on a graph. How can I figure it out from that graph? First, simply, you can choose any 2 points on the graph. For example, I'll choose this point at 25 and 15. And you will connect a vertical line and horizontal lines. Yes. Slope equal what? Slope equal rise divided by run. What is that rise? What is that run? Hey guys, rise means going up. So the rise is the vertical distance between these 2 points that I choose. That here is rise. Here, rise. It's the vertical distance between the 2 points that I choose from this slope, from this line. And what I mean with run. Run, you run up? No, you run bicep, for example, straight, horizontal. So you're running in a horizontal way. So from x-axis, I can choose the run. The 2 points are here, 5 and 3. So I told you that the slope equals rise divided by run. It equals what? The rise equals what? 25 minus 15. 25 minus 15. That is the rise. And run equals what? 5 minus 3. 5 minus 3 will be what? 25 minus 15, it will be 10. 5 minus 3, it will be 2. 10 divided by 2, it equals 5 meters per second. That is the speed of the object. Now we understand how can we figure out the slope equal the speed. The slope represents the speed. Why? Because the slope equal rise divided by run. Rise here what? Distance divided by run. Time. Distance divided by time. We demonstrated here in the speed of time, in the triangle of speed. Distance divided by time, it will be speed. So the slope of the distance versus time graph, it gives you what? The speed of the object. And now we calculated it equals 5 meters per second. And by the way, it's a straight line mean a constant speed. A straight line mean a constant speed. If I choose any other 2 points, it will give me the same value. For example, I will choose this point and this point. So 20 minus 10, it will be 10. And 4 minus 2, it will be 2. 10 divided by 2, it equals 5. 10 divided by 2, it equals 5. Because it's a straight line, means a constant speed. Now we understand what I mean with speed, what is velocity, what is the average speed and an instantaneous speed, and how can you graph the distance versus time graph, how can you graph the motion of the object, and how can you calculate the slope of the distance versus time graph that lead you to understand and to conclude the speed of the object. So, lead you to conclude the speed of the object. Now guys, we get to the end of our session. I'm expecting you all that you understand it well. So, goodbye and see you next session. Goodbye.